Canada is basically here, and, well, it feels like the country has a lot on its plate right now.
Definitely.
International pressures, big policy changes happening domestically, and these really intense environmental issues.
Yeah.
I really want to unpack this. What's going on behind the headlines? What does it all mean for, for you listening?
It's a pretty fascinating moment, isn't it? Our deep dive today, it's really about understanding this whole picture.
Right.
Where you've got global economics bumping up against national celebrations, and at the same time, these huge environmental crises demanding attention. It's quite the mix.
Let's dive straight in then. Big news just breaking.
Hmm.
Canada's canceled that 3% digital services tax, the DST.
Yeah, that was sudden.
It was aimed right at the big U.S. tech companies, Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft. And it was actually supposed to start,
Yeah.
today.
Hmm.
The main reason seems pretty clear was significant pressure from the U.S., a major factor.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a small policy change. It really highlights how connected, maybe even tangled, Canada's economy is with the U.S.
How so?
Well, remember, former President Trump, just, 3 days ago, June 27th,
Yeah.
he stopped trade talks specifically because of this tax.
Right, he called it a blatant attack.
Exactly, and threatened tariffs within a week. And what's really interesting now is seeing analysts over in Europe kind of scratching their heads.
Wondering if their own digital taxes are next.
Precisely. They're questioning the future of these cross-border digital levies. If Canada folds under this kind of direct pressure, what does that mean for other countries trying to tax these global tech giants? It could set an uncomfortable precedent.
That is a strong signal. But is Canada maybe a unique case because, proximity, the deep economic links? Or do you really think this is like a warning shot for everyone else?
Mm.
And I'm curious, that visit from King Charles and Queen Camilla back in late May, some framed it as boosting Canadian sovereignty during these trade issues. Does that actually carry weight?
That's a fair question. Look, the king's visit is symbolic. It reinforces history, tradition.
Sure.
But in terms of practical impact on, hard-nosed trade talks, probably minimal. Canada's economic reality being so tightly woven with the U.S. just gives Washington so much leverage.
Okay.
So maybe less a blueprint for others and more a demonstration of the limits, perhaps, when facing such a powerful trading partner.
Right. Well, speaking of Canada's identity, today is Canada Day, 158th Confederation Day.
Happy Canada Day.
Celebrations happening all over. Ottawa's got the official ceremonies, and there's this push for a 100% Canadian Day everywhere.
It's an interesting contrast, isn't it? Big national party on one hand,
Yeah.
and on the other, also kicking in today, a whole slate of new regulations, at least in Ontario.
Oh, right. What kind of things?
Updates to fuel taxes, some changes in disability benefit funding, new rules for tenant protections, and this is quite significant, the Digital Platform Workers' Rights Act.
The gig worker protections.
Exactly. Things like minimum wage standards, clearer pay info, basic rights for gig workers. It's really challenging that traditional independent contractor model. And of course, for folks in Ontario, it is a holiday today. So government offices, banks, schools, Canada Post, all closed. Transit, malls, grocery stores, probably running unlimited holiday hours.
That's a lot of new rules landing right amidst the fireworks.
Yeah.
How do people, balance the national celebration vibe with these very real new domestic changes like gig worker rights? That's a big deal.
Well, I think it kind of speaks to how Canada keeps evolving, right? The celebrations look back at history, national pride. But these new regulations, they're about today's challenges. Modern society, economic shifts. It shows that even on a day for unity, the actual work of, building the country and adapting doesn't stop.
Okay, so we have the international digital tax drama, the domestic policy shifts alongside celebrations.
Yeah.
But all of this is happening against, frankly, a terrifying backdrop, this massive wildfire season.
Oh, yeah. The scale is just hard to grasp.
The numbers are stark. Over 1,985 fires since May. And they've burned 3.87 million hectares. Provinces like Manitoba, Ontario, Saskatchewan hit hard.
Let me put that in perspective.
Yeah.
3.87 million hectares. That's like 9.5 million acres.
Wow.
It's an area bigger than Belgium, just gone up in smoke. It's truly visceral.
And the immediate impact isn't just out in the wilderness, right?
Not at all. The smoke, the air quality, alerts are now hitting eastern Canada, including big cities like Toronto and Ottawa. It's affecting millions directly.
So it's a poor air quality evacuation.
Mass evacuations in some areas, yeah. Huge disruption to industries like forestry, tourism, and the long-term environmental damage. It's profound. This isn't some distant problem. It's impacting daily life, the national mood. It really underscores the urgency of, well, climate challenges.
So bringing it all together then, we've just explored a Canada that's simultaneously navigating these tricky global policy decisions, celebrating its national identity, and also grappling with a really severe ongoing environmental crisis. It's all happening right now.
Yeah, it's a very complex picture, which leads us to, I think, a final thought for you, our listener.
Okay.
When you consider all these things tangled together, the digital economy pressures, these big domestic policy changes, and this immense environmental crisis with the wildfires, what does this specific moment tell us about Canada's priorities, about its resilience, both at home and, on the world stage? Where is it all heading?